So a while ago I posted on Twitter I'm going to be doing this site roastings. I already done one around, so if you want to check that, it's going to be in the description, the video. But now I'm going to go through 4 more websites from this list. So yeah, if you want to be in the next video where I'm roasting sites, make sure to follow me on Twitter so you can catch one of my tweets and comment your website. But yeah, we're going to take a look at these websites. And yeah, I'm going to show you those mistakes that they're making, and I'm not going to just be highlighting those mistakes, but I'm going to also jump into the framework projects and actually fix those issues. So if you want to, I don't know, improve your framework skills and you want to make sure that you're not making these mistakes, make sure to watch the whole video. My name is Nandi, this is Frame University, and let's get started. Okay, so here's the first website that we're going to take a look at. It's Yashhashmuk's website. The pronunciation is probably, yeah, here's the name, Yash-Muk, yeah. So yeah, this is the website, and I noticed something weird with these cards. So I don't know if you can notice it, but when I hover over, there's a little blank. Maybe here you're going to see it better. No, it wasn't that bad here. The reason why it's not as bad right now, because the videos that are playing here on hover are already loaded in. But when someone lands on this website and hovers over these cards for the first time, they're gonna see a little blinking. And I'll show you that in a second, because I can actually go into inspect mode by right clicking, going to I'm not saving the Cosmos by going to inspect. And then if I go to network, I can make sure that the cache is disabled, and I can switch to slow 4G, but maybe I can try with fast 4G. Let's see if it works. I'm going to reload the website. Now it's going to take a little bit more time to load the website, because we are using just fast 4G, which is not that fast actually. And now as I scroll down and hover over, you can see we had that black screen for a much longer time, because right now what we're doing is we're simulating basically someone with a bad connection. So maybe you're using your phone, you're out somewhere and your connection is not as great. You can see I hover over this, again there was a little black screen, again here, boom, black, and then the video starts playing. So is there a way to fix this problem? Is there a way to make sure that this hover is a little bit smoother? There isn't this black flashing, but as soon as we hover over, we immediately see something and not just a black something, a black flashing. So yeah, I'm going to jump into the Framer project. I'm going to show you how to fix this. So here I am in the project. I'm going to scroll down to the cards. I'm going to go into this component. I'm going to go into this component as well. I'm going to find where this interaction is defined. I think this is the component, and when I hover over, here's the video that is playing. Yeah. So you can see on the primary state of this component we have an image, but when we hover over, as you can see, this image is now, I don't actually know where that image goes, because here it's just called frame. Because you okay, so yeah, this is also a mistake. You shouldn't override this field. It should stay the image, and you can set it to visible. No, that's fine, but just do not override the field, because it doesn't make any sense. But now we can see that, okay, we have the hover state here, video is visible instead of the image. So the problem here is that on the right panel you can see that no poster image is set. You can see the poster is set to yes, but the actual image is not set right here. And this is where we can fix the problem. All we have to do is we have to upload a poster image, but you have to know about poster images. Basically it's a property for videos, so that when this is set, the browser will know that, okay, this is the poster image, I have to show this as long as the video is loading. So if you have a bad connection, maybe the video takes 2 seconds or 3 seconds to load. In that time period, you can still, or the browser can still quickly load a small sized image, and once the video is fully loaded, it's going to start playing the video. So yeah, what you have to essentially do, if you think about it, is you just have to upload the first frame of the video as a poster image. So it's going to be super smooth. You're going to see the first frame as long as it's loading, and then once it's loaded, it's going to start, like, I don't know, the image will start moving because it's a video. So how do we get the first frame? Because that can be a little bit of a interesting task. Well, what you have to do is you have to get the video file, of course, and you have to upload it to a website. So this is a little bit of a hard task for me because I don't really have I don't really have the video. So I'm gonna try maybe clicking this and going into inspect and finding the video itself. Okay, so this video might be what we're looking for. I'm gonna open it in a new tab. Exactly, really nice. Okay, so I'm gonna just download this video really quickly. I'm just gonna go to Google. I'm gonna search for extract frame. Video frame extractor. This is the website that we need. It's a really cool website that extracts frames from videos. So the way we're gonna use it is we're gonna drag and drop the video file here that we just downloaded. So drag and drop it, boom, cool. So now we have it there. You can extract more frames if you for some reason need that, but again here we just need one frame and the first frame. So the way I usually set it up is number of frames 1, the distance between frames 0. We need the first one. Extract, and it's right here. We just right click, copy image, and that's it. We have what we need. So now I'm gonna come here and I will try to upload that. I'll come here back to the component because I can just turn the poster image into a variable as well. I can come back here, and then here we're gonna have a poster, and I can just simply upload it here. So now for the first card, we have a poster image. So if I publish this website and if I go actually to the link, I can compare how the first card behaves compared to the other cards. So let's see. As you can see, it was pretty fast. Boom, it's already there. I don't know why it has this white outline. Maybe, yeah, okay, probably what I'm seeing, I actually don't know. I don't know why it has the white outline, but let's just ignore that. Maybe my remix link is a different version, whatever. But the point is that it's super fast. There is no black frame. Really cool. If I hover over this one, you can see that it's also actually pretty fast. But again, we're not really having that slow connection. So let's just go to network, disable cache, fast 4G. I'm going to reload this. And then we're going to quickly see the real difference between the first and the other cards. So let's hover over this one. As you can see, there was a little bit of black screen because again, this connection is really slow. But if we compare it to this one, as you can see, it's black for a much longer time. So, you know, it will still get black here because it has to even load the poster image, but it's going to be better. So what you have to take away from this is that when you are using videos on your favorite websites, even if it's not in a interaction like this, you have to make sure that you're using poster image on your video component, and you just simply have to upload the first frame of your video, and you can get that with this little website, frameextractor.com. Super simple, super easy. And actually one more thing I wanted to mention on this website, but I forgot, is that as you can see, it has this cursor. It's a custom cursor. It's like a little circle, like a white circle. Maybe you're also seeing like my regular cursor because of my screen recorder, but what I'm actually seeing on my screen is no regular cursor, just a little, I don't know, just a little circle that follows my cursor, or it's just moving as I'm moving my cursor, but I'm not seeing my real cursor. So this is not really cool. I don't know, just to maybe go to this website, but maybe it will be changed by the time you're watching this video, but whatever. So the problem with it, I'm just going to try to explain. The problem is that I'm moving my cursor and this circle is following the movement with a little delay, and it's like super hard to like move it to specific, like, I don't know, hover over this about. It's just a little hard to to hover over it, because it has this like, if I'm moving it really fast, it's just, you see how like kind of smooth it is. Like, yeah, it's smooth, but not in a good way, because yeah, it just makes the experience a little worse. So what I would do is I would either remove the custom cursor completely, or I'm going to show you what you can do as well. I just don't know where that custom cursor is actually applied. Maybe it's no longer in this one, but actually it was okay, so it's already removed from the remix that I have. It's only on the navigation on the top, so I can show it to you. If I click the navbar on the right, there's this cursor. Probably this was also applied to the desktop breakpoint so that it's applied everywhere on the page. So you can see that the cursor is set to replace, so it's replacing your real cursor. Again, you might be seeing something else because of my screen recorder, but the main problem is this one right here, the transition. This causes the cursor to, or this element to follow your cursor movements with a little delay. If you remove that, it will be a much better experience. It will still replace your cursor. Let me try getting this preview. Okay, now I'm seeing something. So you can see it's still replacing my cursor, but now the movements are much quicker, and it's just easier to position it and like hover over things. So yeah, when you're using custom cursor, I wouldn't really recommend using transition if you're using the replace mode. Great, let's move into the next website. The next website that we're taking a look at is the addnandesign.framer.website. So what I'm gonna basically talk about here is this right here. So as you can see, when we hover over these cards, I don't know if you notice anything weird, but I definitely do notice something. Actually, a bunch of things could be improved, but I'm going to be talking about one main thing, which is the images in the background squishing. If you pay attention to the background images on the cards that we have on the top, as I'm hovering on and off really quickly, the images in the background are actually squishing, or like they're just jumping, glitching, like they're acting a little weird. I think it's more visible in the logo folio text, because you can see how the L gets like, it jumps to the side as I'm hovering over. So yeah, you might, if you run into something like this in Framer, you might be, oh, okay, I see the problem, I know that it's there, but I don't really know how to fix it. So just, you just keep it like this. But I can show you why this is happening, and the reason is because you're having a frame, which is, in this case, let's say it's I don't know, 4:3 aspect ratio, and then the problem is that when you hover over, this switches to a different aspect ratio. And yeah, in Framer, if you have a frame that has a background image fill, and across different variants, the frame is changing its aspect ratio, the image will be behaving in a weird way. There's no way around this. I mean, you can do workarounds, but yeah, this is just gonna be like this. But I'm gonna show you how you can like set up these cards a little differently, so those images are not squishing. I'm gonna scroll down and see if it's still, yeah, it's still squishing in this remix as well. So I can just click into these cards and, oh, actually this looks pretty similar, but yeah, I can show you how to fix this. So what we have to do is we have to make sure that this default primary variant doesn't have an image fill in the background, and it doesn't. So you can see that the fill is actually a color. So the image is probably set on the image wrap, or maybe, or actually, no, it's not set on this one. It's within the image wrap. You can see image wrap, and then within that we have the image. Great. But then why is it squishing then? Because actually I can see that it's set up correctly here. So there is no pinning. It's absolutely positioned. Oh, there you are. I can see why is it squishing. Yeah. So basically, this is the fix. I said it's similar because it's actually from Frameverse website. I'm probably not gonna find it because I just have too too many resources, but yeah, I'm not gonna find it. I have no idea what's the name, but yeah, which is not a problem. You can use it, but it seems like that you changed something that made this component break. So what you have to make sure is that this image it always has the same aspect ratio, and that's why in this component it's set to absolute positioning and it doesn't have any pins activated, because I want to make sure that even if the parent frame of this image is changing its width and height, the image itself will just stay the same size. It will not adapt responsively, it will not change the width, the height or anything, and it will not squish. However, here there is a little mistake. The width is set to a percentage value, which means that it will basically adapt if this changes. You can see how this image is also growing with it. Now, if I set this to fixed, you're going to see that that will no longer be the case. However, you will notice that this comes with the drawback of not having a responsive image within. So you will have to set like max widths for these cards just to make sure that it doesn't grow like too big to reveal that, oh, actually this image is not responsive and it doesn't fill up the card. But if it's smaller, it's fine because it's just going to crop the sides. So with this simple change, by setting the width of the image to fixed, I think we fixed the problem. Let's see. I'm gonna jump in here into the preview, and in this card it is actually fixed. You can see that this is not squishing anymore here. This logo folio is still squishing. Maybe it's a different component, probably. It looks the same, but I think it's a duplicate. Yeah, it's still set to a relative value, so we have to switch it to fixed. By the way, just again a quick tip for you, probably this was built by a beginner, which is totally fine, but when you have a card component like this, you don't have to duplicate it like 5 times. The point of this component is that you build it once and then you can reuse it multiple times. And when you update the value on the main component, it will be updating on all of your instances where you're using it. Now in this case, I updated the value, but I have to update it again because there are duplicate components, right? So that's a little problem here. But I think other than that, that's it. If we now take a look, you can see logo folio, not squishing, and that's actually really weird because when I hover over the left card, it's not squishing. When I hover over this one, it is actually squishing, and I know why it's happening. So I'm gonna quickly show you. I'm gonna take a look at these. Yeah, it works here as well. But again, when I hover over this, the left one is squishing, and let me show you why. So basically, these have not only just default and hover, but they also have an idle variant. And on the idle, I also have to make sure that this image is actually fixed. So maybe we can just reset overrides here, right? And also here, make sure, but probably here it's not overridden. Yeah, it's fixed here. So yeah, basically that's the fix. Hopefully you learned something with this little this little mistake and by fixing it, because yeah, it can be really nice to have the images not squish on your website when you're hovering over these elements. So yeah, and actually the cards are also not growing too big here on this viewport. However, here, as you can see, they're going to be a little bit too large. They're going to be revealing the left and right padding because this image is not responsive. So you have to make sure that your design is actually adapting to this, and maybe set a max width on these cards so they are not growing bigger than the actual size of the image. But as you reach this point, it all looks fine. So yeah, basically that's it for this website, and now let's move on to the next one. Okay, so the next website is Redesigning, and yeah, here we have a little tiny problem that I noticed, but I think it can be actually really useful for you to really internalize this and remember when you're building something. So when we have these little animations on the cards on the right, when we are going through these different items, I don't know if you notice anything. Do you actually notice something? It's a really tiny problem. It's related to consistency, because when I start scrolling or just start clicking through these, what I see is that, oh, okay, these are coming in from the side, right? It's just animating in from the right. However, when I come to the third item, it starts coming in from the bottom. So this just breaks consistency. If you start moving in from the right, just make sure that all of your cards are moving in from the right, or you can just also make sure that everything is coming in from the bottom. And also one more thing that can make this look a little nicer is just, I don't know, I'm just finding, okay, I cannot really find one that, I don't know, the best to portray this problem, but you can also see that we have overflow set to hidden, because when this comes in from the bottom, for example, you can see that it's cutting off here. So you cannot see the card actually moving in from here, because it's basically cut off. You can also pay attention, for example, to the corner here. You can see it's rounded when it's fully moved in, but while it's moving in, it almost looks as if it doesn't actually have a corner round, and it almost looks as if it's like going from corner round 0 to corner round 10 or I don't know 14. So yeah, I think these issues can be fixed really easily. So the first thing that you can do is you just go into this component, you select these images. You can see all of them have this appear interaction. I would just copy this and just paste it to all of these. So select all of them, Command K, paste, effects. Now hopefully all of them are going to be the same. Let me check really quickly. Yeah, perfect. It's coming in from the right on all cases, and you can see that within the component it doesn't have the overflow hidden, because we can see it as it's moving in from the right. So it means that the overflow hidden is probably here on the canvas, on the page, because you know here it's wrapped in the stack, in the content, in the process, blah blah blah. It's wrapped in a bunch of frames, so we just have to make sure that all of these are set to what? Well, overflow visible. So let me see now that the overflow is actually visible. Scroll down. Yeah, I think it's much nicer as it comes in from the side, and we can see the full animation. The corners are not looking weird. It's also consistent. So yeah, just a little something, a little quick tip for you from this website. But yeah, I think that's it. Let's move on to the next one. So the last website is the Oblique website, Oblique Design. Again, I'm not sure if this is the pronunciation, but what I want to talk about is this button right here. So this is actually a cool little interaction, or it could be a cool little interaction, but it isn't smooth. It could be a little bit more smooth, right? So what I don't really like about this is that we're combining like moving things with instantly appearing things. Also, like the booker call switches to like like I don't know, it just disappears. So basically we have this, actually the only thing that animates is this element, moves here, and then everything else just appears instantly. And I think this could be built in a much nicer way. So I'm gonna just quickly do it to show you how, and hopefully it's gonna help you. So we're gonna go into the project. We're gonna open the file right here, click into the component, and maybe I'm gonna switch to light mode so we can see it better. So I think we are talking about the primary white. We're just kind of gonna ignore all of these. So let's see what are the elements within this component. We have a text, we have an icon on the right, a little arrow. This is what we're seeing, right? Yeah. Then we also have another arrow, or is it the same? I don't know, because this is called plus here. I don't see plus on the default variant, so yeah, but basically the point is that we are using these elements here. We just have 4 layers. I'm gonna delete this one and I'm gonna rebuild it from scratch. All I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just copy this shadow setup so I can recreate it easily by just pasting it. So I deleted it again, create that hover state, and then shadow paste all. Okay, so this is the starting point. So we first kind of have to like think about what we want to do. What should the animation be? So I think here what we could do is we could have the book call text turn into you. Then this could basically move to the center, morph into a plus button, and then we could show this little profile from the right. It could also like move in smoothly. So, you know, we could also, I don't know, take this to next levels by making sure that this isn't actually an SVG, but it's some sort of yeah, I'm just thinking I could make it with just frames so I have more control over the animation, because I could just change it to plus, but again that's gonna be like a instant transition from actually now that I did this I kind of see the animation that I want to do with this. Yeah, I'm gonna build it with just frames. So I'm gonna just draw a frame here. Again, the reason why I'm doing this is I want to have more control over the animation. So quick frame, paste it in here. Size is 36 on the original. Fill color not needed. We're gonna call this icon, and then I think we're gonna just throw a frame here. It's gonna be black. It's gonna be rounded. I don't know the stroke width, maybe 3. Okay, the height will be something like this, and then, so we're gonna call this vertical. So yeah, vertical, and then let me switch this back to arrow right. Yes. So actually what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna switch this to 24:3, so this is actually gonna be the horizontal, because then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna duplicate this, and then I'm gonna turn the width to 3, the height to 24 divided by 2. Then I will move this here, but I have to think about a better way of moving this to make sure that the animation will actually be smooth. So I think I'll wrap the halved line into a frame, which is gonna be height 24. Sorry guys if I'm like not as smooth, I'm just coming up with the idea here live. So we have a wrapper for the halved. We pin it to the bottom, so we can just rotate it to animate it like this, which looks really cool. But I think this could be positioned a little differently. I think it could be rotated like this, and then if you actually I'm not sure. No, this is not the way. This is not the way. I think I have to move this up like this and then rotate it like 45 degrees. But you're gonna notice that actually this will have to be a little bit longer here. So not 12, but maybe 14, 15, 16, something like that. And maybe it's gonna also be a little bit longer. So the wrapper, something like this could work, yeah. The point is that what I'm trying to do or achieve is that when eventually we reach the point when we transition into a plus, we just rotate this and it will be a plus. And we'll not only rotate this, but the one on the the one that's on the bottom, because we can just duplicate this, move it to the bottom. But I'm just thinking if we can make a more smoother like transition here to make sure that it's not like going below the line. But I'm not sure if we can do that actually. Actually, we can do that. Like it's not a problem. We just have to wrap it in another wrapper. So I can create another wrapper on the wrapper. So we're gonna call it mask because we're gonna use it to mask it. We're gonna move this mask a little bit more to the top. Then we're gonna move this back. Then this mask will be set to overflow hidden. So now when I'm rotating this, you can see it's no longer gonna overflow the bottom. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit just to tweak the positioning and everything, because as you can see it's not perfect. Maybe we can move it up. Maybe we can make it a little bit larger. Yeah, this looks okay. So this is gonna be the animation. Bam. Really cool. Just have to make sure that it's centered here. But yeah, it doesn't wanna show nicely. Ah, no way. No way. Okay, I'm gonna mess around until I don't get something that looks cool. Yeah, I think this is it. Okay, this is roughly okay. So now that I have this, I can just duplicate this mask. I can move it down with the arrow keys, and then I will just, I don't know if I can, no, I cannot rotate it simply. I have to mess around with it a bit. So I'm gonna move it down. I'm gonna rotate this a little bit, and then move this mask a little bit more, then this wrapper, move it into the same position. Yeah, something like this. Something like this. So as you can see, we roughly have the same arrow. However, we're going to be able to do a much nicer animation on this one. So, icon, great. We have the book of call as well. Now let's think about how we can, and you get, by the way, just a quick note here. Like you can see I'm not actually building the animation yet. Like I'm not going into the hover state and rotating these around and stuff like that. However, I'm already thinking about how I'm gonna do it, right? I prepared everything here. I know that I'm gonna be able to just rotate this, and I'm gonna be able to rotate this, and we're gonna have it. Maybe we're gonna also have to make these lines a little bit larger so that the horizontal and vertical lines are the same size. But I already know that, okay, it's gonna work. So as I'm building the primary, I'm thinking about the, the animation and the hover state. So that's what I have to do on the Booker call as well, because, Booker call has to transition into you, right? So how can I make sure that that happens? Well, I think we can just keep it really simple. We can wrap the get in touch, or let's just call it label actually. We can wrap this in a stack, Option Command Enter. I'll just basically set it to fit width, so it fits the content within. I'm gonna call it wrapper. And then I'm gonna set, actually, do you use any other, you're using other text as well. Even though I know that you probably want to use other texts here, I'll try to keep it a little bit simpler for the sake of this video. So I'm going to remove this variable. And I'm going to change this to absolute positioning. Actually, we can keep it relative. You know what? We can keep it relative, and then we can also keep the variable. And we can just duplicate this, and we can change this to absolute. This will make it jump over the previous text, which is book a call, but we can rename this to, or rewrite the label to you. So this is gonna be you. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna just simply change the opacity of the one text, and then yeah, but just change the opacity, and that's how we're going to switch the text layers. We just have to make sure that both of them have user select none applied, so we cannot select the text. Great, that's it, I think. Oh, one more thing. In order to animate this, also let's remove this. In order to animate in this profile, we have to set it to absolute positioning already on the primary. So right, absolute, and it's going to be coming in from the right side. So I'm going to just put it here, opacity 0. That's it. It's going to be coming in from that position and yeah, getting opacity. So let's set up the hover. So I'm going to just first of all change the label to 0 opacity and the U to 1 opacity. The wrapper frame will then switch from fit content to fixed because it's still fitting the invisible label, which is set to relative. It is not fitting the absolute positioned text, so I'm just going to set it to fixed value and a little bit smaller. There you go. Now this one right here, the icon will transition into a plus. So we're going to do this. This one right here is 24, so this will maybe, what should I do? I don't know, maybe 12? Set it to 12 on both, and then just move them like this. Move them to the correct position. I think this is it. And then we have the Twitter profile. We can set it to relative, so it jumps into its place. Opacity 1. And there you go. You have basically the same visual on the hover, but when you're going to see the animation, you're going to be like, oh, so this could have been a little bit better. And yeah, so let's switch back to dark mode and let's go here. And let's take a look because actually it might have some issues. So let's hover over. That's first of all, I don't really like the speed. It's a little too slow. So I'm gonna set it up in a way that it's a little faster. So I'm gonna go time based. The time will actually be 0.4 and the bounce will be 0.2 or 0.1. Let's test it here. Okay, much better. I don't know why the U isn't moving, to be honest with you. I have no idea. Oh, I know. Okay. That's actually that's actually so interesting. Yeah. I thought it's a bug or something, but no. Our setup basically resolves this. To make sure that it looks a little better, I think it would look nicer if the U was also moving. So I will just set the U up in a way that it's pinned to the right. Okay, that's it. You're gonna see now it moves in as well. I think it's nicer this way. And yeah, you can now see that this is what we have. You can see that the plus smoothly transitions from an arrow to a plus button. And yeah, I think it's just a little nicer. We can also, I don't know, take this to the next level by staggering some of these movements. So what we can try is, for example, first the booker call disappears and then the U appears with a little delay. We can try that. We can go to the hover because this is what we want to edit. We want to edit how it goes to the hover state. So the U has a style transition. The transition will be basically the same, 0.4, 0.1 that we have on the primary. It's going to have a little delay, 0.1 maybe. Let's take a look. As you can see, it comes in with a little delay, but actually I don't really like it. Maybe because the delay is too much. So I'll try this, 0.5. And if it doesn't look good, I'm going to remove it. But actually, it's not bad. Maybe this could also have a little delay, the icon itself. So icon, transition, set it up the same way, 0.5. Actually, this could be 1. And then maybe this as well. Transition. And this will be a little bit more again. 15. Let's take a quick look. Yeah, why not? Like, it's pretty fun. Yeah, pretty cool. And you can play around with the stagger values, the delays, and everything to fine tune this. But yeah, I think we already have something that looks much smoother and better than the original. So I can publish this. I can open this in my browser, and if we compare the before and after, I think we're gonna see the difference really clearly. So we went from this to this. I think it's pretty cool. So yeah, basically that's it for this video. I really do hope that it was helpful. If you have any questions regarding these issues that I showcased, or you might have another issue on your Framer site, make sure to drop a comment. I'll make sure to do my best to answer those problems or questions. Yeah, also if your website was showcased in this video and I fixed it, feel free to drop me a message on Twitter. I'm going to send over the remix link for this fixed project so you can take a look at it or copy elements over to your main project if you want to do that. Make sure to also check out Framer.university for cool resources or lessons just like this. And yeah, make sure to like this video, subscribe for more, and I'm going to see you in the next one.